what is Israel's future security and borders, in your opinion?
It's a very interesting question, because I think that in some cases this is the best of times for Israel, and in some cases it's the worst of times. The factors that make it the best of times, they've discovered an extraordinary natural gas find off the coast. They can be an energy exporter if the bureaucracy will get out of the way. And there's been a lot of infighting, and the regulator there has been a huge obstacle for those who follow that, and I do. The Egyptians, for the first time ever, have flat cut the tunnels from the Sinai into Gaza, so that all that stuff that used to just go through there like a freeway is not going through. The walls have worked. The additional security measures have worked. You don't see car bombs going off in Israel, except very, very rarely. The Iron Dome, David Sling, Petraeus system, this interlocking system of air defense against everything from rockets, mortars, missiles, worked very impressively during the latest war with Hamas out of Gaza. Thousands of weapons shot in their direction, and very, very few Israeli casualties. We now assess, by the way, also another good factor, that the damage done to Hezbollah in the war in 2006 was much greater than was originally assessed. They're still rebuilding, and my personal view is that Hezbollah is not eager to get into a fight with Israel. And besides, they're occupied pretty fully in Syria, where they're losing hundreds of their fighters. Israel is startup nation. If KKR can have anything to do with it, it'll be scale-up nation, KKR and a lot of others. It's just extraordinary, the innovation that's going on there, especially in the IT world. Venture capitalists have a wonderful time there. And I'm among them, by the way, and I'm hugely impressed with what they're doing. So a lot of really good, positive developments. But then you have the buildup on the Golan, which is concerning. I don't think something's going to happen with it, but it's there. You have the worry about the Palestinian issue and another intifada, which I think is very unlikely. But you have an unsolved problem, and ultimately Israel cannot do a one-state solution, because if you do, it's not going to be a viable democracy anymore. Sooner or later, they're going to be outvoted by Arabs if you allow everybody living within that border to be a citizen. So there have to be borders. Somebody's going to have to sort out where they are. There's going to have to be land swaps. There's going to have to be provisions taken to ensure security at the border with Jordan, provisions to allow Palestinians whose fields have been cut by the zigzag of the border to go under it or over it so that they can get to work and so on. A whole bunch of stuff has to be done, but it has just proven too difficult for a variety of different reasons. And then finally, what I think is actually the single biggest threat to Israel right now, and what could keep somebody awake at night, is the prospect of what is called an international intifada. This is the boycott, disinvestment, and sanctions movement. And some countries in Europe have actually, there are firms and countries that have moved down that road. And that would be serious, because Israel does depend on its interaction with the rest of the world. It's not insular. And if it were to be increasingly cut off in some way, or isolated, or sanctioned, or there's too much disinvestment, then I think you'd have a problem in your hands.
What is your opinion on the upcoming release, November release, of the Israeli spy, Jonathan Pollard?
I've got very, very mixed feelings about that. He was somebody who took American secrets, gave it to someone with the intention that they're going to be given to someone else. Very huge numbers. This wasn't sharing something with somebody that, it's not going to go anywhere. This was very, and it was repeated and over in massive amounts of very, very highly classified stuff. So that is a problem. On the other hand, I think legally he comes to the end of his time, and so legally I guess that the decision will be made. I would like to think it would, if we're going to do that there would be a tremendous reciprocity of good feeling, and we might enter an era of harmony between the leaders of the United States and Israel. But as was announced earlier, I'm neither a pessimist nor an optimist. I'm a realist.